What if the thing holding you back from being the leader that your team needs isn't training or tools, but it is simply taking better care of yourself? Last year was one of the most challenging years in my organization and in my business, and I found myself missing key decisions, and it was because I was running on empty. I needed to make a change. So I found that adding one simple habit, self-care habit a week, tremendously changed my energy level in the way that I showed up for my team. In this episode, I'm going to share my 5 simple habits that you can adopt that help me boost my leadership clarity, my energy levels, and my decision-making skills. Stick with us. Self-care is a strategy. Time management, it's not about how many things you can do within the day. It's about what you focus your time on. I had to condition myself to begin to, 1, balance my nutrition, and then make sure, 2, that I was hydrating. I committed to myself to recover during those 4 days. No email, no phones, no touching your computer. Hey everyone, John here. Welcome to today's episode. In the episode today, we're going to talk about why self-care isn't just some mumbo jumbo. Self-care is a strategy. I work with a lot of business owners. I work with a lot of leaders, and I find a lot of times it's not more training that they need. It's not more coaching or mentoring or fancy tools or automation. They're burnt out. They're at their wits' end. They're stressed, they're overwhelmed. And no matter how much money that you throw out at that in tools, in training, it's not going to solve the problem. So in this episode, I'm going to give you 5 self-care habits that I used because I was there. The last year has been probably one of the most stressful years as a leader, as a business owner, and really just general in life. And so I found myself putting my head down and just working harder. And that was not getting the job done. So if you're in that place where you feel there's no way out, or maybe you've tried instituting habits, or maybe you've tried doing some self-care in the past, I'm going to challenge you today. Take one of these 5. Just one, begin to implement it once a week. Do it, and I promise you, it is going to help. You are going to see, you're going to feel a difference, and your team will change. Your team will appreciate the fact that you're taking care of yourself, because as leaders, if we don't overfill our cups, we have to get selfish here. I'm asking you to get selfish for this one episode. Take care of yourself. Overfill that cup so we can go pour into our teams and into our businesses. So let's get into the first habit today. And this one, I'm going to talk about a couple things here, but my day starts with my morning ritual. And my morning ritual it used to be turn off the alarm, maybe even snooze the alarm, get up, get ready, get my coffee, hit the emails, on the way to work or whatever that morning called for, then get to work, immediately get into my meetings. It was just one thing after another in my morning, and it was creating a very hectic day for me. I didn't have any mind space. I didn't have anything there that focused on me. So what I did was I started this morning ritual, and it's a very simple morning ritual, and I'm going to give you guys some applications here. So I'm not saying do all of these. I'm telling you what worked for me, and I'm telling you at least try one. I'll give you 2 or 3 for each one of these 5 habits, but at least try one. And just do one a week, and then add another one, right? I think there's a lot of power in habit stacking. So James Clear has a real good book. Charles Duhigg is one of my favorite authors. He talks about the power of habit, but that's just some reading. And what I learned from reading those books was starting this morning ritual and how important that was to beginning my day. So the first thing that I do before I even get out of bed, before my feet touch the ground, are my 3 thoughts of gratitude. Every single morning, as soon as I turn off my alarm, it really focuses my mind in a positive mindset. Then I go about my morning ritual, whatever that looks like for you. But early in the morning, before I get into emails, before I get into any work, I write down 3 goals. My top 3 goals that I want to accomplish for that particular day. Okay. Then Immediately after that, after I identify those 3 goals, I go into my calendar and I block time. I make sure that those goals are a priority in time management. It's not about how many things you can do within the day. It's about what you focus your time on. So I give myself at least 90-minute block for those 3 goals, all right, to get them done, to get them accomplished, whatever I want to get out of those goals. I dedicate 90 minutes a day. And you may say, John, I don't have 90 minutes. If you don't dedicate a block of time, what happens is I would spend 15 minutes on the goal here, 20 minutes here, maybe 30 minutes here, and I wouldn't get the goal done. But what I found is if I stayed focused on that task for at least 90 minutes, I would check that goal off. It's amazing what we can do when we set a timer and we stay focused on one task. So in the morning, whatever kind of mindfulness, gratitude, morning prayer, whatever you got to do to get into that positive mindset, remember why you're getting up in the morning. That's a great way. To start the morning is your why. And you can do this very early in the morning or you can do it late. I'm not saying you got to get up before 5 a.m. So whenever you get up, start the day off with a positive mindset, identify those 3 goals, and then block time out to get that stuff done. So your morning ritual, very, very important to get the day going. The second habit that we're going to talk about today are breaks. And these breaks, I call them micro breaks throughout the day. And I'm going to talk about another break. This one we're talking about the body. Okay, as far as getting up every 90 minutes or so, set an alarm. I love to do this. If you got an Apple Watch or some type of watch, it'll go off reminding you to move. Why do you have to move? You got to get up and get that blood flow. Stretch. Get outside. Get out of your office. If you're in an office and you're on your feet already, get outside of that office into a different environment. It allows your mind to refresh, kind of, relax, and then focus on what that next task is. And then my phrase that I use is, let's get to work. When I tell myself that, even now, when I say that, my body activates. I'm ready to go. So it creates, though, those micro breaks throughout the day for your body to get up, to move, take a 10-minute walk, whatever you got to do, right? Go sit in your car and read a book. Whatever you have to do, but get your body moving to the point where it's a stretch, it's a move, you're getting out of your office, and you're doing this about every 90 minutes. It refreshes your mind and body. I found that it helps me. One of the problems I was getting into was I was sitting at my desk, meeting after meeting after meeting. I have a lot of virtual teams. So what do? We stack the meetings right on top of each other. Not even 5 minutes in between. Before, when I was in the physical office, I at least had some time to walk between meetings. It may be walking down the hall or take the stairs or walk to a different conference room. So there was that natural refresh there. I don't have that anymore. So I have to recreate that. I was missing that in my daily routine. So movement breaks. Second habit, really, really powerful to get you energized and sustain the energy throughout the day. Habit number 3, mindfulness. So we talked about physical breaks, body breaks. Now we're talking about mindfulness breaks. And here, you can do these throughout the day. I normally do them in the morning. I do them around lunchtime. And then right before I disengage or I get out of my work system and either get into my family system or maybe it's another business. Even between businesses, I transition with a mindfulness break. So what is that? This can be a simple breathing technique that you use. I use box breathing where you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold the breath for 4 seconds, and then you breathe out for 4 seconds. And it just calms down my nervous system. Quiets my mind. You can meditate if you want to meditate. And I'm not talking about, the crisscross applesauce namaste meditate, but meditation can simply be you quieting your mind for 30 seconds to 60 seconds to allow yourself to transition from one task to another task, one system to the other system, one business, one meeting, one process, whatever you are transitioning to. I have found a lot of benefit in having these mindfulness breaks. It allows me to almost kind of leave whatever I was doing there and move on to that next task. Really, really powerful. So that is habit 3, mindfulness breaks. Try it on. I want to take a quick break from the episode today to talk about a couple things. The first thing, less than 40% of our listeners are subscribed to our channel. You would be doing me a huge favor if you click on that subscribe button. It helps us grow our Go Be Great community and get this podcast out to as many people as we possibly can. The second thing, are you a small business owner that is drowning in the day-to-day operations? You're delegating tasks and you're still doing all the work. You're experiencing a high turnover. Maybe you don't have the systems and processes in place that you need to run a successful business. I invite you to go over to thejohnespinosa.com, fill out the form to see if you're the right fit. Now back to the episode. Habit number 4. This is one of the things that I was doing the morning routine. I was having my movement breaks. I had my mindfulness breaks, and something still was missing. And, one thing that I really enjoyed doing was exercising and running. And I'm not a get up in the morning, go exercise person. That's just not me. I recognize that about myself. So I do it after work. That's when I quiet my mind. I tire my body out, and it allows me to settle in for my evening routine. But what I wasn't doing throughout the day was getting ready for that physical activity. And those that work out in the morning, I've seen the same. I've worked with leaders, I've worked with business owners that do very early morning workouts, and then throughout the day, they're eating junk. They're filling themselves full of energy drinks, or they're just grabbing the first available snack that's around the office, which is normally a vending machine. And I don't know about you, but the last time I've seen snacks and cookies and chips in a vending machine, normally not a lot of healthy options. So I had to condition myself to begin to, 1, balance my nutrition, and then make sure, 2, that I was hydrating. I thought I was drinking enough water. I wasn't even coming close to drinking enough water. So what did I do? I snack prep. I put healthy snacks in my mini fridge in my office. I use a lot of protein bars. I use, fruit and veggies. I have things that I can easily reach even during a meeting, when I'm on a virtual meeting, something that I can go to my little mini fridge. I can pull out my kombucha, a lot of cold water in there. Whatever your healthy snacks are, that allows me to eat about every 2 hours. Because that was the other thing, was I was taking huge long breaks between my meals. And then I was eating a big meal because I was starving, and it just wasn't working for me. So now I'll go in, I'll reach for grapes. I got apples in there. I got blueberries. I got strawberries. I have protein bars. You can have protein drinks, whatever you want in there, but something healthy to grab. I even have a snack drawer in my office, and all my team knows where the snacks are, the healthy snacks. So again, I keep bars up there. Keep beef jerky, just a lot of things that I can easily go in, grab a handful of it, snack on it, and I'm good to go. So the balanced nutrition piece, very important part. What are you eating? Is your day full of a bunch of candy bars and chips, and you go out to eat for lunch, which that could be unhealthy, and then you're subsidizing a bunch of coffee and energy drinks in throughout the day instead of water, and just being mindful of that, I think, was the biggest part for me. And then hydration. Got to get in your hydration. So I went in, I bought 32 ounce, bottles where I can go and refill them. And I keep them just little bottles like this. They're glass. I keep them in my fridge. And I make sure that I'm drinking one at least every 2 hours. One 32 ounce bottle every 2 hours. Now, John, you're going to say, John, yeah, I know what happens when you drink water. You got to go get rid of the water. But I promise you, you're going to feel a difference. You're going to see a difference. I just know that it's going to help. Water has probably been a game changer for me as far as how I sustain my energy throughout the day. For me, I even try to get in a liter of water before I drink my morning coffee. So before, I used to do the morning coffee routine as soon as I got up. Now it's the water routine before I get to my coffee. But habit number 4 that I've implemented is a balanced nutrition and making sure I stay hydrated. And then, I was journaling this morning and I got to thinking, okay, John, what's your 5th habit? And this one, because I have a lot of habits, but I wanted to share the top 5. But this one has probably been the one that has helped me keep everything together. And it has really centered around guarding my recovery. And what I mean by that is I used to go on vacations, or I'd take time off the office and I would still work. I'd still have my phone on me. I'd be answering emails. I'd be answering instant messages. It's okay. I'll just check my email and get back. It's never just one or two emails. So I did two things. The first thing I did is I shortened my getaway times. I used to take week-long vacations or, week and a half long vacations, and I couldn't stay away that long. I know myself best, and I knew that a week and a half, my mind was getting back into the business. My mind was getting back into, okay, what am I going to do when I get back and I enter back into the organization? What's missing, what's got done, all of those things. So what I did is I shortened down my getaways, my breaks. I shortened them down to 4 days. And what that did for me is I committed to myself to recover during those 4 days. No email, no phones, no touching your computer. 4 days, you can do it. If you can't, then we got some other things that we need to talk about, because I help people be able to step away from their organizations, because some people, they get anxious even if they're away for lunch. But 4 days, I committed to myself to step away, and it was one of the best decisions of my life. I was able to mentally rest. I was able to physically get some downtime. I thought I was getting downtime in the week and a half. I thought that being gone longer meant that I had more downtime. But what I found out was I was still worrying about the business. I was still doing the things that I shouldn't be doing because it wasn't true downtime. I was still wanting to connect, but I did make a commitment to 4 days, and that was a game changer. So guard your recovery here. Have a true vacation. Another tip and trick that I like to instill: set an alarm for your bedtime. We set an alarm to go to sleep or to wake up in the morning. Set an alarm to go to sleep as well. Sleep is very, very important. Now, there's some people out there that can operate on maybe 4 to 5 hours of sleep. Kudos to them, because you can only do that, or I could only do that for so long. And then I was finding myself getting fatigued, and then that 4 hours gets to 3 hours, and the 3 hours, barely 3 hours. So I was reducing my time, my sleep, my rest, because sleep is the only way that your body recovers and rests. And it took me a long time, 45 years, to realize that. So I got a bedtime. I instituted a bedtime. We had bedtimes when we were growing up. Why? For a reason: to allow our bodies to grow and allow our bodies to rest. So, guard your recovery. Critical for me. Make sure that you take care of yourself. These 5 habits, I challenge you, take one, work on it, take one of the applications, and maybe just through our conversation today, you thought of something that you could do. Don't do all 5 of them at once. Just take one and then start to stack. So morning routine, I put them in order. That's the one that I started with. And then, I went into my breaks, my physical breaks and my mental breaks. Those aren't really heavy lifts. You just got to schedule them during the day, and then make sure that you're getting a balanced nutrition and staying hydrated. I would start with water and then start balancing out that nutrition, and then guard your recovery. Figure out ways when you can get away from the organization, when you can get away from your business. Make sure that you are truly away from the organization, getting that much needed downtime, and is going to help not only you as the leader, but it will flow into your team and their productivity and their mindfulness. And who knows, they may adopt one of your habits. You'd be surprised. I believe in you. Go be great. Talk to everyone later. Bye-bye. If you like what you're hearing, do us a favor. Click on that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up or leave a comment. That lets us know that what we are putting out benefits you. If you want additional information or resources or learn how to work with me, head on over to thejohnespinosa.com, because when we become better versions of ourselves, it helps us get others to where they're going. Go be great. Talk to everyone later.